world where power often creates distance, one powerful CEO did something unexpected. Her simple gesture touched the heart of her black gardener and changed his day forever. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Where are you watching from? Let's get started. True leadership is often misunderstood in the modern world. Many believe it is defined by the size of a company, the number of employees, or the revenue a person controls. In the United States, where corporate success stories are celebrated as the peak of achievement, it becomes easy to assume that leadership is about power and dominance. Yet the reality is far different. Leadership in its purest form is not about standing above others, but about having the courage to stand with them. It is not about how many people obey your commands, but about how many people you uplift when no one is watching. A powerful CEO in America may have every symbol of status: corner offices in skyscrapers, a fleet of cars, invitations to exclusive events. But those things alone do not make a leader. The true measure comes when they step outside the spotlight, when the cameras are gone and their actions reveal their character. The ability to stoop down and connect with people others might overlook is what defines genuine leadership. It is the moment when a CEO pauses their busy schedule to listen to the voice of someone working in the background, someone society often ignores, that shows the real weight of their influence. In a nation that constantly battles issues of inequality, class divisions, and racial barriers, these small gestures become even more powerful. When a person at the top chooses humility over pride, they remind us that no individual is too important to serve, and no worker is too unimportant to be seen. Leadership, then, is less about commanding respect through authority and more about earning it through humanity. It is in the simple act of recognizing another person's dignity that the essence of leadership is revealed. Small acts of kindness may seem insignificant on the surface, yet they have the power to transform the way people see themselves and the world around them. In the United States, where conversations about race and social inequality remain deeply rooted in history, even the simplest gestures can carry enormous meaning. A smile, a respectful word, or a moment of genuine care can bridge gaps that years of division have created. These small actions may not erase systemic issues, but they shine as reminders that humanity thrives when people acknowledge one another with dignity. When a powerful figure, such as a CEO, chooses to show kindness to someone society often overlooks, it does more than brighten a single day. It disrupts the unspoken rules of hierarchy, where those with wealth and influence usually remain distant from those in humble positions. A gardener, laboring under the sun, may be accustomed to being ignored by executives who pass by without a glance. But one moment of recognition, one gesture of respect, can validate his worth and restore his sense of belonging. That moment becomes bigger than the action itself. It becomes a symbol of equality, a quiet statement that every individual matters. The cultural weight of such a gesture is amplified in a society where racial history has left scars. For a black gardener, receiving a kind word or action from someone in authority is not simply about politeness. It can be a moment of healing in a nation still reckoning with its past. Kindness cuts through the walls built by prejudice and class, reminding both the giver and the receiver that human value is not determined by status, skin color, or wealth. Instead, it is found in the ability to recognize another's humanity in its simplest form. In America, the promise of equality has always been central to its identity, yet the reality has often fallen short. From the earliest struggles for civil rights to today's ongoing conversations about race and justice, the nation has been challenged to live up to its own ideals. True equality is not established solely through legislation or political speeches. It is lived out in daily actions that affirm the worth of every individual. When people at the top of society demonstrate respect for those often placed at the margins, they bring the nation a step closer to fulfilling its founding vision. Acts of recognition and compassion, especially when they cross the boundaries of race or class, carry a weight beyond the moment. They echo into the broader culture, showing that dignity should not be reserved for a select few, but extended to all. In a society that often measures success by material wealth, it is radical to see a powerful figure choose humility, to see them interact with a worker on equal terms. That single act becomes a practical expression of equality, far more persuasive than abstract ideals. The American struggle for justice has always depended on both large movements and small, personal gestures. While policies can address structural barriers, personal actions remind us that equality is not just a legal concept, but a human responsibility. A CEO acknowledging a gardener's humanity shows that the dream of equality is not distant or theoretical. It can be lived in everyday encounters. In those moments, history and principle meet in the simplest of ways. America's ongoing journey toward equality requires these kinds of moments, where individuals choose to embody fairness not only in public commitments but in private. Human interactions that reveal respect at its core. Respect is a value that should never be limited by social class or professional status. In the United States, where social and economic divides are often pronounced, respect can sometimes be distributed unevenly, reserved for those in positions of authority or wealth. Yet genuine respect is meant to flow across every level of society, from the executive in the boardroom to the worker maintaining the grounds outside that building. The worth of a person is not measured by their job title, but by their humanity. And when leaders demonstrate this truth, they model the kind of society America aspires to be. When a CEO takes the time to acknowledge and appreciate a gardener, it becomes more than a personal interaction. It sends a message that no role is too small and no individual is invisible. In a culture that often prioritizes achievement and status, such a gesture disrupts the hierarchy and places human dignity above professional rank. For the gardener, it affirms that his work and presence matter, that he is seen not just as labor, but as a person deserving of recognition. For the CEO, it is an opportunity to show that leadership is about serving as much as it is about directing. This exchange becomes a reflection of the larger American conversation about equality and fairness. It demonstrates that respect is not something to be demanded through authority, but something to be extended freely across boundaries of race, class, and occupation. Everyday actions like this carry weight because they remind people that dignity is universal. Respect does not diminish when it is shared. Instead, it builds stronger connections between people from different walks of life. In this way, respect becomes the bridge that allows society to honor the humanity of all its members. Compassion is often underestimated in a society that values competition, achievement, and productivity. In the United States, where success stories frequently highlight financial growth or personal ambition, the quiet power of compassion can sometimes be overlooked. Yet it is compassion that has the ability to shift perspectives, mend divisions, and bring light into someone's ordinary day. When one person chooses to act with kindness, the impact can ripple far beyond the immediate moment, altering the emotional landscape of those who receive it and even those who witness it. For a worker who is rarely acknowledged, compassion can be transformative. A simple gesture from someone in authority, a word of encouragement, a sign of gratitude, or a helping hand, communicates that their labor is valued and their presence is important. This recognition can restore confidence, inspire greater pride in their work, and remind them that they are more than their job title. In a nation where many people often feel unseen in the shadow of wealth and influence, compassion provides a sense of belonging and dignity that material rewards alone cannot offer. The act of compassion also holds meaning for the person giving it. A CEO who chooses to show kindness to a gardener is reminded of the shared humanity that exists beyond titles and paychecks. Compassion bridges the gap between privilege and everyday labor, showing that empathy is not limited by class or race. These moments demonstrate that caring for others is not a weakness but a strength, one that strengthens the moral fabric of a community. In America's ongoing struggle with inequality and division, compassion serves as a powerful tool to unite people, creating experiences that touch the heart and linger in memory long after the moment has passed. A leader's legacy is not defined solely by the financial reports they leave behind or the buildings that bear their name. In the United States, where ambition and material achievement are often celebrated as the pinnacle of success, it is easy to equate legacy with wealth, power, or influence. Yet history repeatedly shows that the individuals most fondly remembered are those who touched lives through their humanity. People recall how they made others feel, how they treated those who could never repay them, and how they chose to use their position to lift others up instead of standing above them. When a powerful figure chooses humility, it reshapes how people perceive their leadership. A CEO who stoops down to show kindness to a gardener is remembered not just for their business acumen, but for the grace and empath